Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the YouTube account. We are sitting on 175,000 diamonds, so getting kind of crazy. And we know that the new Celestial Hero is going to be coming up on Tuesday, which means we're saving our cards, our resources, and our diamonds. Now the 6th anniversary is right around the corner, and I just want to kind of clear up some of the expectations that I am hoping to see when it comes to the anniversary. And if you've been hanging around AFK Arena for a while, we need a lot of quality of life things. And a lot of players are also speculation, I know it was over on Reddit, about the Draconic heroes. Now the speculation is they are not going to let you swap the Draconic heroes, meaning that getting Skylin, also getting the copies of Halia, might not be possible with the swap, because I know a lot of players, including myself, looking at what I have here with the Draconic heroes, would absolutely 1000% take Hildwyn, swap him to a different Draconic hero in there, giving me the ability to essentially rebuild Hildwyn out of the shop, which again would be an absolute game changer if we could swap them. Again, this is just the rumor mill. Don't kill the messenger, but that is the rumor that we're not going to be able to swap them. Now, there is also the rumor that when it comes to getting some of the free heroes, that they were looking at bringing back the reroll that we've seen. And if you guys remember this, you had the ability to roll or re-roll summons until you got a summon that you were happy with. Then you could go ahead and pull that. It included most of the time having a Celestial and a Hippo together, or one or the other, and then also having an Awakened hero. So essentially, you could pull and get a 3-pull or a 4-pull if you were happy with the pull you received, having an Awakened hero and a Celestial or a Hippo. You could go ahead, lock in that summon, again, if you kind of remember this, and then you could just move forward with whatever you want. So there's also the Poetic Pop quizzes coming up. We have a lot of things that are coming in the pipeline. However, at this point of AFK Arena, we're not seeing anything new, which I'm hoping, again, really big fingers crossed that when it comes to the anniversary, they are going to drop some quality of life things, which again, we'll look at and kind of talk about in this video, what we want to see and what would make the adjustments. But you can see here, Lyrical Exploration is up, the Labyrinth is coming. We know the Misty Valley is on repeat, as well as some other things that are going to be released. Now, my thoughts and really my top things where we kind of get stuck within AFK Arena, number one being the Ghoulish Gallery. They have to give us the ability to get a lot more of your actual materials in here to go ahead and build these collections out, which means a lot more arcane staffs. Now, a lot of players also noted with this collection that, remember, when it comes to the collection, when it comes to the display, this is the Gallery North zone, which could mean an east, a west, a south. We could see a lot of additional collections that could be released in the future. And I feel like that is going to put a dagger in the heart of AFK Arena if they release an entire new, essentially 10 collections within here to get within the Ghoulish Gallery. Just because there is so much hate about this game mode already, I cannot see them going out and releasing a bunch more without giving us the ability to get an absolute crazy amount of arcane staffs. And even since this has been released, which I believe now it's been well over a year, not having the ability to build these out and having a massive RNG factor within here. Now, if they did the ability, like I talked about, in my idea for the Ghoulish Gallery is kind of almost scrapping the Ghoulish Gallery as we see it today, going through the exploration piece and just making all of our collections cumulative, meaning that you can build out some really, really good collections. They're not going to be individualized collections like what we're seeing here, meaning that when it comes to Zoras collection, I have 12 different collections in here, but you have one that you can work towards and continuously build up into the point where you build the perfect collection that you want. And these are also giving you some of the materials that we need to do that. Now, if they gave us the ability, every single run we did in here, gave us X amount of recasting elixir. If you went ahead and sacrificed some of the collections, it gave you recasting elixir in the AFK rewards. We received arcane staffs and recasting elixir. That would make it a lot more viable, as well as taking away some of the RNG factor that does come with some of the collections themselves. Now, second part in here, again, really big part was the Dragon Isles. So when it comes to the Dragon Isles, just like me, we're kind of stuck right now. We're not getting any insignias that are really worth or not at the quantity or the quantity that we need to actually build out some of these. As you've seen, even on my account, we do not have Skylin, we do not have Halia. They are two that we do not have at all. And of course, in here, we could fix that by giving a lot more of the Dragonforge trials, making these and really toning them down a little bit since they've been out for an extended amount of time, giving us the ability to really unlock and utilize some of the strongest heroes within an AFK arena. And it's funny because even thinking bigger picture, since we've seen this version, since they've come out with the Draconic heroes, it has totally, in its entirety, made the Awakened heroes very easy to get, very feasible. And when you put it in comparison to where we have the Awakened heroes, and then on the flip side, where we have the Draconic heroes, the Draconic heroes are infinitely harder to get than we see the Awakened heroes. And again, that is something quality of life wise, they could absolutely choose, change, and to do this, going through the library, opening up the rest of this Field of Stars to include your arcane staffs, your recasting elixir, as well as getting a lot more insignias on a daily basis. And then I also feel like they need to add them into the store. It could even mean reducing the cost of what we have right now with our time emblems, but adding in a couple more resources in here, again, to ease the pain and suffering that players have seen, because I feel like at the 6th anniversary, for a lot of players, it's already too late. I feel like there's a lot of people that are leaving guilds, even looking at companions, even a lot of players in some of the top guilds are completely kind of exodus with a lot of those guilds, not seeing a ton of utility, not seeing a ton of new players influx. And again, kind of weird with the whole companions thing, which I feel like they should just scrap or incorporate the good parts of it into the classic version, just go back to having one game, done and done on that aspect. Now looking in here, going in here, again, they could do a big revamp. So thinking about when you start a new game, like we did with our free-to-play accounts, when you start looking through here, all of the heroes that we get within here are very obsolete when it comes to tier list. You know, even updating this to put Liberta in here, put Lucilla in here, put a lot of very prevalent heroes. That way, players can build them a lot easier, and even putting in either getting a couple more time emblems or possibly even working the Awakened heroes in here. Now, I know they did this update when it comes to the Temple Rift and a couple other places. And my thought in here as well is it's pretty crappy because we run this thing on repeat and a majority of these are entirely obsolete. Again, they could make the game so much more prevalent in so many more by literally just replacing copies of meta heroes within different parts of the game. And then, of course, updating them on a regular basis. When we think of Tailene, when you think of Aziz, when you think of, you know, building out Solus, when you think of Brutus, most of those are first generation, which I think all 4 of them are first generation Awakened heroes. We are going into essentially the 4th iteration of Awakened heroes at this point, meaning they are so far removed, so far obsolete. And then Hildwyn and Eugene, again, most players that got them for free don't have any reason to go in here and build them. So now we're kind of pigeonholed into getting, you know, our time emblems and our Stargazer scrolls out of here because there's nothing really else to get. You can see even going through here, maxing these out, building it out. The Temple Rift has really become almost obsolete itself at this point, just for the simple fact that even as a new player, even on my free-to-play account, I can make a lot of progression in the Temple Rift. It's relatively quick, get some decent rewards out of there, but overall, just kind of a time-consuming, the difficulty and really the gameplay or the buy-in for that game mode. Again, it needs to be updated. I feel like they're leaving this game in the dust with just so many things that they have the opportunity to fix, that they have the opportunity, you know, to adjust, that they have that again could make the game great. And I know a lot of players feel disheartened sometimes when they watch the videos because it's a little bit more down. Again, they have a lot of chances. Even looking at the guild aspect, we talked about this. I showcased the one that I'm playing, and we're about 2 weeks within Raid Shadow Legends. The way that they do clans in there, the way that they do the bosses, absolutely phenomenal in the way the progression of being in a larger guild, having and working towards the collective of the group itself. And that is what I feel like a lot of it has kind of missed. So I'm hoping 6th anniversary, fingers crossed, because I know for a lot of people that if we don't see a lot of quality of life, if we don't see some changes and adjustments, it might put the feather in the cap of the proverbial AFK arena for a lot of different players. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I'm still waiting every single day, checking the test server, seeing what's up, seeing some patch notes, seeing what they're going to do with the 6th anniversary, looking for sneak peeks, anything that's data mined, anything that's coming out. And right now we have not seen anything, unfortunately, at this point. All right, so like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.